The Exorcist, 1973, is a film that didn't just shock audiences, it reshaped the boundaries of horror and mainstream cinema. Directed by William Friedkin and based on the novel by William Peter Blatty, the story follows the harrowing possession of a 12-year-old girl named Regan and the desperate attempts of two priests to save her through the ancient rite of exorcism. But this wasn't just another horror story with jump scares or gothic atmosphere. The Exorcist was something far more visceral, something that burrowed under the skin of its audience and society alike. The film opens with a slow, unsettling buildup. Regan, played with astonishing realism by Linda Blair, begins to exhibit bizarre symptoms, speaking in tongues, violent outbursts, physical contortions, and a deepening otherworldly voice that seems impossible for a child. Her mother, a successful actress, turns from medical science to religion when all logical explanations fail. What follows is not just a struggle against evil, but a confrontation with the very idea of faith, suffering, and the existence of the supernatural in the modern world. When The Exorcist hit theaters in 1973, it became a cultural earthquake. Reports surfaced of people fainting, vomiting, even running out of theaters in a panic. Paramedics were allegedly stationed at screenings. In cities across America, religious groups protested, calling the film sacrilegious, morally corrupt, and psychologically dangerous. It wasn't just that the film depicted demonic possession, it was the raw, brutal way it was shown. Regan's desecration of a crucifix, her vulgar and sexually explicit behavior, the profanity spilling from the mouth of a child, all of it pushed viewers far beyond their comfort zone. What made it even more disturbing was the film's realism. Friedkin shot the movie almost like a documentary, using cold lighting, gritty cinematography, and non-traditional editing. The performances were grounded, the reactions felt real, and there was little sense of the theatrical, only escalating dread. It didn't feel like a monster movie, it felt like it could happen next door. For many, especially religious viewers, The Exorcist wasn't just offensive, it was dangerous. The Catholic Church, though never officially banning it, expressed serious concerns about its content, with individual priests calling it a work of blasphemy. In deeply Catholic countries like Ireland and the Philippines, the film was immediately banned. In the United Kingdom, it was released theatrically with an X rating, but when the home video market emerged in the early 1980s, the British Board of Film Classification refused to grant it a certificate for VHS release. For over a decade, The Exorcist was effectively banned from home viewing in the UK. It became part of the infamous video nasties era, though it was never officially listed among them. Its absence was due more to bureaucratic caution than to being lumped in with exploitation horror. Even outside the realm of law and censorship, The Exorcist stirred paranoia. Rumors began to spread that the film itself was cursed. The set allegedly caught fire and had to be rebuilt. Actors were injured, and several people involved in the production or related to the cast died during or shortly after filming. This gave the movie an aura of dark mystique that only deepened its impact. The audience didn't just believe in the possession on screen, they started to believe the film was dangerous in the real world. In some countries, especially in parts of the Middle East and Asia, The Exorcist was banned outright due to religious sensitivities. Nations with strong Islamic or Catholic influence refused to screen it or demanded heavy edits. Others cited fears of psychological damage. The idea of a child being overtaken by evil, turning on her mother, screaming obscenities in a voice that wasn't hers. It wasn't entertainment to many, it was trauma. Yet despite the bans, protests, and panic, the film was a massive commercial and critical success. It became the highest-grossing R-rated horror film of all time at that point and was nominated for 10 Academy Awards, winning 2. Critics were deeply divided. Some called it a masterpiece of modern horror. Others called it revolting and morally irresponsible. Over the years, The Exorcist has evolved in public perception. It's now widely regarded as one of the greatest and most influential horror films ever made, not because of gore or monsters, but because of the way it dared to examine the darkest corners of faith, evil, and the unknown. It challenged audiences to confront the possibility that there are forces we do not understand, that evil is not abstract, and that the scariest thing of all might be losing control, not just of your body, but of your soul. Today, the film is freely available and continues to terrify new generations. But the memory of its initial release, when people screamed in the aisles, when churches condemned it, and when entire nations decided it was too dangerous to show, still lingers. The Exorcist wasn't just a horror film, it was a cultural reckoning.